How long are you going to leave that turkey in the oven this week so it's cooked just right? What time will your guests arrive, and will the Thanksgiving spread be piping hot for all to enjoy?
These are all great questions. As with most things in life, timing is everything, even when it comes to your retirement.
Omaha's retirement strategist Darrell Bryant is here to explain. Darrell is one of the area's leading financial advisors. He hosts a weekly retirement radio show in Omaha that airs Saturday mornings on 1110 KFAB, and he helps folks in Omaha plan for retirement. Welcome back, Darrell.
Good morning, Darrell.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Good morning to you guys.
Yeah, I loved that
One more
intro.
day.
Timing really is crucial when it comes to retirement. So at what point should we start planning for retirement, and what is the advantage of getting started early?
Well, when should you start planning? I would say maybe the day you're born might be a good idea.
Okay.
You know?
So you can't start early enough is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah, you can't start early enough because there's a lot to be done. You can't really do exact calculations when you're 18 years old, for example, of what exactly am I going to need at that time and all that sort of thing. So you really start to dial in those questions when you're about maybe 15 years away and really start to put an income plan together and that kind of thing. But I did bring my little chart here this morning, so I'm going to explain to you the difference between starting young and waiting even if you deferred 10 years, okay? So let's take a hypothetical couple, and let's say this hypothetical couple were to be able to save $100,000 in their IRAs and 401ks, etc., by the time they're 26 years old, okay? By the time they're 26, they've amassed $100,000. Now, to some people out there, that might sound like, oh, well, who could do that?
Right.
But believe me, there are a lot of people that that are diligent and a lot of delayed gratification, etc. So watch this.
I wasn't in that category though.
Yeah,
I didn't get to that number by the time I was 26.
I hear you. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So watch what happens. Let's use a hypothetical rate of return here, and let's say that you're able to earn a 7.2% linear rate of return. Watch what happens. If you don't know the rule of 72, look it up. But what I mean by that is, I know that at 7.2% rate of return, that money will double every 10 years, okay? All right. The reason for that, by the way, is because 7.2 times 10 is 72, okay? So it's rule 72, check it out. Anyways, let's say they amass $100,000 by the time they're 26. If that money is doubling every 10 years, watch what happens. Even if they don't add anything to it, by 36 it's worth 200. By 46, 10 years later, it's worth 400. Another flop of the money from 46 to 56 is 800. Then they get one more turn of their money, and they go from 800,000 to 1.6 million. Wow. Okay, so you really want that tail end, one more turn of the money, right? Yeah. So just imagine if they only started if they amassed that when they were 36, and exactly the same thing happened. They would only get 1, 2, 3 doublings of their money, and so they'd only end up with $800,000 instead of 1.6. You follow me?
Because every kid should see this demonstration.
They should.
It's a really big deal. So the point of the matter is, it's not as important how much money did you save, but when during your lifetime did you save it? Because time on money is extremely powerful.
And then how do you determine the best time? And I'm sure it all depends on when you start saving, but how do you determine the best time to retire, like when you can stop working? At what point do you figure that out?
Well, you'd have to do some math. And the thing is that here's the simple answer to that, Mike, is what we want to know is, what do we need to have for a budget? So if you're 60 years old, you know kind of who you are and what you'd like to do when you retire and what your budget's going to look like. You know if the house is going to be paid for or not by that time. So you can begin to do some real calculations. But the simple answer to that is, the equation goes like this. Here's what we want, $100,000 a year, whatever the number is. Here's what we have going toward that. Maybe we have a pension, we probably have Social Securities, etc. So how much are we short? Maybe you have some cash rents. So what you want minus what you have as guaranteed income streams equals the annual shortage, right? Or we call them the red numbers, okay? So we just need to know well in advance what the red number is every single year, and then we have to determine whether or not we have enough money to fund every one of those years, and that's when the calculations start in, and we start using the bucket approach or different types of retirement models to determine whether retirement is really feasible.
Well, once you are in retirement, timing still matters.
Sure.
So tell us about the different milestones and dates that we need to be aware of.
Oh goodness. Okay, so you're approaching retirement. So at about age 60, you really start to think about these things. So here's a few things. Social Security. You want to try to maximize your Social Security, even though there were laws changed. You can still there are still maneuvers that you can make to maximize Social. You're going to think about age 62 is the first time you can take Social Security. Your FRA or full retirement age is age 66 or 67, depending upon your date of birth. Maximum is age 70, but there are things you can do. Then you're thinking about Medicare, health insurance transition, Medicare supplement. Do we need life insurance? Hey, honey, what if we lost a spouse? We're going to lose the Social Security, and my income, my tax bracket's going to go up. And there are just a lot of things. What else did I jot down? You certainly want to start moving toward a safe harbor just as you are moving into retirement. I had a client in yesterday, and that's really the whole point, was we need to start moving this stuff out of this 80% equity portfolio, and let's start setting up one of these income plans.
And it really takes a conversation. And take advantage of Darrell's Thanksgiving offer. You can get a complimentary retirement readiness review for today only. All you have to do is call that number right there on the screen to see if you qualify. 402-932-2141. Again, that number is 402-932-2141 to receive a retirement readiness review.
This offer is good for Blend viewers who are nearing retirement or already retired. You can also visit Darrell's website, dbryantretirementstrategies.com.
Good information.
Thank
Good
you.
information. We're going to have families around this weekend, so it's a good time to have that discussion.
It sure would be.
Happy
Thanks, Darrell.
Thanksgiving.
Have a good
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Guest of the Morning Blend.